Dear God, thank you for healing my brain. Thank you, dear God, for healing my brain. Thank you, dear God. Thank you, dear God, for healing my brain. Thank you, dear God, for healing my brain. Thank you, dear God, for healing my brain. Thank you, dear God, for healing my brain.
It's an explosion flipped me over and went into my chest. And all I know when I woke up, bullets were bouncing around. So I knew right away, no move. I just did. This was, my whole arm was drawn over to see the bone. You know, when I looked at it, to see the bone, and so was this my chest. Matter of fact, I had a piece of shrapnel in my chest just came out from the hip.
Johnson was awarded a Purple Heart. He left with in 1966. Now that they're finished in 1970, the two are among more than 2.5 million uniformed Americans who served.
I got my remote control to work today. The white one.
More than 58,000 U.S. servicemen and women lost their lives in the war. 885 in Louisiana.
Mathati.
Days etched in history and the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Known simply as the Wall, it's a tribute to the American lives lost. The conflict between the North Vietnam seized control of Saigon, the southern capital of Vietnam. American troops moved out of the city on April 30th, 1975.
I guess I was
Are you happy, Mom?
heartbroken back when they did. I heard that if we had just stayed a little longer, that we
You happy? Be happy.
You know, you couldn't fight people in the backyard.
It's our first failure, our first true failure as a nation militarily and in nation building. It was, I think, a very noble experiment. I think it was done with good intentions all around, but at the same time, it proved our arrogance. John Fitzmaurice is a history professor at the University of New Orleans and has taught courses on the Vietnam War. Fitzmaurice says the war caused many Americans to question their own government and its policies. But he says what should never be questioned is the valor of the veterans. But what was the real tragedy of the soldiers coming home is that they were largely ignored. The number of Vietnamese casualties is alarming. In 1995, Vietnam released its official estimates. 4 million civilians killed countrywide, with 1.1 million Vietcong soldiers dead. The U.S. military estimates more than 200,000 South Vietnamese troops fought alongside Americans who were killed. This spring, the American flag flew next to the old flag of South Vietnam. As part of its commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon, the local Vietnamese community honored both U.S. and South Vietnamese veterans. The war may have ended 50 years ago, but for some veterans, they're fighting a different war today.
didn't really start having any bad dreams initially till the 80s when I got married. My husband told me, "Would you fight the war in your sleep?"
I try not to think about Vietnam or regular things. Sometimes my mind is not thinking about Vietnam. It's thinking something that happened.
Johnson and Ellinger say they're unsure what was gained. The losses are undeniable.
When I saw the way Saigon had fallen, I said that was a wasted war. I said, what did we die? What did I leave?
A wasted war. Wasted lives.
That was Tom Tron reporting. Tomorrow in part 2, we look at how some Vietnamese refugees survived the journey and found a new home there in